Welcome back to Nick Landis Comic Corner, Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 1724 and Doubleshot number 1618. The first trade is an end of an era for one character. The other is a trade that's the second trade for this trade series that does feature a Superman-related character and a Batman-related character. First up, we have the fifth and final trade that collect Brian Michael Bendis' time on Action Comics. And this is also the last trade I gotta talk about for Brian Michael Bendis' time on the Superman titles. Yes, the last one. I have now gotten... here's the thing. Do you know how many trades there are for the Brian Michael Bendis era? You really want to know how many there are? There are 10 trades to collect this stuff. Yes, 10. This book is the finale. This is basically, well, for Action Comics, that is, 1022 to 1028. Written by Brian Michael Bendis, obviously, and artwork by John Romita Jr. Okay, whatever. Yep. Most of this one, it kind of is a follow-up to from what happened in Young Justice when Connor Kent, the pre-Flashpoint Superboy, shows up. And there's a little bit of revelations here that does play a mild role post Dark Knight Death Metal, where the whole thing about the universe, I'll get to that. So, he speaks to Superman. Basically, you have Connor going to the Fortress of Solitude, which, by the way, is no longer the North Pole. Yes, Bendis, at the start of the era, had the original Fortress of Solitude, which had been a North Pole for decades. Even post-Flashpoint was kept there. Yeah, first thing he did, have an alien destroy the damn thing. But luckily enough, he's able to rebuild it in a different location. I think he rebuilt Antarctica, I think it was. Yes. So luckily enough, the character Kleenex is there. Kleenex is a robot from Krypton who is simply there just to look at Connor. And he does confirm, yes, he's a clone of Superman and Lex Luthor. Though, I should point out, though, this is actually not the outfit he was wearing prior to Flashpoint back in 2011. Nope, this is actually his outfit from the 1990s. Why in the world Bendis put him in this outfit for? I have no idea. It's by far one of the most baffling things that he's done with this era. That my friend Tivia does not like this era at all for Superman. He actually considered both this book and Superman to be, for 2020, on the list of his worst comics of that year. I enjoy Bendis' run, but he did not like it. He hated it so much. So this one we got, aside from the whole thing with that, we do have a return of Supergirl. Yeah, last time she appeared in any book was the end of her own solo title, which ended issue 42. Well, the seventh volume of the series. Yes, though I'll get to more to that in a minute. So, basically, Connor, of course, they don't exactly reveal that at this point it was actually, they say it was Star Labs who created him, when I think that's actually incorrect. You see, pre-Flashpoint, it was Cadmus, not the Star Labs. Yeah, apparently Star Labs has been vilified in Bendis' run for some reason. Apparently he does not like Star Labs. Yeah, almost at one point, Superman actually destroys a building for Star Labs because he hates it so much. Now, this, I think, is quite baffling, the fact that we retconned something related to Connor. Because it was established, I believe it was just after the events of the Death of Superman storyline, that he was a product of Cadmus cloning. Not Star Labs. Why in the world they decided to retcon Star Labs, I don't know. He does, in fact, go to the Force. He goes to the Hall of Justice. Which, you might be asking, Nick, did he ever go to that pre-Flashpoint? To my knowledge, I don't remember if he ever did or not. I do not remember if he ever did. So he's there. He meets up with Roy Cheadle. Yes, Roy Cheadle, who has not been seen in any comic book prior to this since the end of the Justice League America title by Steve Orlando. That was the last time he physically appeared. We also have Mr. Terrific. Yes, Mr. Terrific is here. They also bring up the Terrific's book, which was actually published by, originally drawn by Ivan Reyes, who actually left that book to do Superman. And of course, also, we have the return of John Kent. Now, my guess is that because, well, the League of Superheroes had was probably coming to an end, they said have John return back to present day because they need him for present day stuff. Excuse me, man. So, and he brings on with him Brainiac 5, which second time he's appeared in the Bendis Superman books. The last time was actually in, I believe it was The Truth Revealed, where you actually had the present-day formation of the United Federation of Planets. Yes, the very government organization that the League of Superheroes is commonly associated with. The Earth is not part of that yet in the present continuity. In future it is. And, of course, that's when Bendis brought in the League of Superheroes. Though, when he later wrote the characters, he kind of rebooted them in a way. Which is actually the third time they were rebooted, which I refer to as the Bendis version, because this version only appeared just in that 2-ish miniseries, League of Superheroes Millennium, the very brief ongoing series. I actually like that one. I know if TV doesn't like any of the Bendis stuff. Yes, he hates everything that Bendis has done for DC. Yeah, he hated like every single book he worked on. I loved every book he worked on. I thought it was really good. That's just my opinion with. My friend Edgar actually agrees with me on that. So, basically, we do. Also, Bendis is something I did not expect him ever to do. He created this really cool woman named Melody Moore, who was the deputy fire chief. And by the time of this book, she was running for mayor. And then she gets murdered by Red Cloud. Yeah, she gets murdered by the Red Cloud. Yes, for some reason, Red Cloud murdered her. And the book doesn't really explain why she murdered her. Yeah, and by the way, Superman found her on the rooftop of the Daily Planet. Yes, found her dead body. Thank you, John Romita Jr., for not showing that. I mean, yeah, you can see like a little bit of remains, which I at least gotta praise John Romita Jr. for not glorifying a dead woman's corpse. Thank you, John Romita Jr., for not doing that, because excuse me, I know people are nose, but I have stuff I nose here. So, I at least appreciate Romita Jr. doing that because, well, it would not make any sense for him to do that. The Red Cloud herself is taken down by Superman and basically him, his cousin, his son, and his clone, who take her down, and Lonnie, who at this point was the owner of Daily Planet, and then she left town. Yes, because of the connection to the Invisible Mafia. And here's something really weird, though, about this. The FBI, who are, by the way, led by Cameron Chase, who people know about this character. She's commonly associated with the DEO. I believe that in the Supergirl book, she got fired. She got fired from DEO by Bones for stuff related to Supergirl. Interesting, though, that she's joined the FBI now, and apparently she's hired to raid the Daily Planet. And apparently, according to Perry-White, they couldn't exactly publish a paper with them being there. I'm like, the printing press is on the basement. Why in the world would you write that? I don't know why Bendis wrote that for. And apparently, you really want to get to Lonnie's office. I'm like, stairs. Go to them. Why in the world are you in the ground? Why are you in the battle floor? Why are you there for? Yeah, it's like so much baffling things Bendis does. Like, yes, they have a warrant. Okay, if they want to go to Lonnie's office, have Perry White point him to her office. Isn't that freaking hard to do? And of course, the connection to the Invisible Mafia stuff. Yeah, and then of course she leaves. By the way, she actually not only owns the Alien Planet, she also owns the very green car that Superman crushed back in Action Comics #1. Not the one from 2011, the one from 1938. Well, yeah, 38, from his debut appearance, when he smashed the car against a freaking rock. Yeah, somehow, someway, she got her hands on it. Do not know how. This actually was explained in Action Comics 1000. Like, they actually have follow-up to that, because I think people have been curious for decades. What the heck happened to that car? And it ended up in a junkyard, and she bought it for some reason. And then she leaves town, And then, of course, probably by far the most weirdest thing happens. Like, because you have to have read the Jimmy Olsen, Superman's Power Jimmy Olsen 12-issue maxi, which is really good, and it's done by Matt Fraction. In that book, it was revealed that, get this, Jimmy Olsen is a distant cousin of Lex Luthor. Excuse me. And here's the thing. Apparently, because they're distant cousins, he has a legal right to take 50% of the Luthor fortune. Yep, he did that. And what did he do with this? Now, apparently, according to him, he says Luthor can't tell him what to do with his half, and he can't tell him what to do with his half of the fortune. So, what does Jimmy Olsen want to do? He does like Lex Luthor, so he buys the Daily Planet. And here's the thing. He gives Perry White full creative control. See, Jim may be the boss, but the person who controls everything here is Perry White. Which, wow, that's actually pretty smart of Jimmy Olsen to do that. Now, here's the thing. Jimmy Olsen himself, basically, him being rich, like, him being from a rich family, that's something new. The whole thing of him being connected to Luthor is that was something Fraction did. So Bendis was following something that Matt Fraction established in his book. Lois herself does appear in the book. Basically, her role was just stuff with the FBI. And the whole thing with that, it's a bit of frustration and so much baffling stuff happening here. And eventually Red Cloud is arrested. And, by the way, they are fighting, of all people, the Parasite. Yes, the Parasite. Of course, I couldn't tell was the Parasite because of the artwork. Yes, the way John Romita Jr. drew the Parasite, you're thinking, wait, that's the Parasite? Yeah, it's by far one of the most weirdest things. Like, this is how Romita Jr. draws Red Cloud. Yes, seriously, that's how he draws her. As for in the case of Parasite himself, well, that's something else altogether. Also, for some reason, Romita Jr. decided to do this. Yes, he did this. Pull a trope from the 90s. For reasons. Yes. Let me give a good look, basically, about this. Because I didn't know this was the Parasite. Because the fact I couldn't tell because of Romita Jr.'s artwork. And it's kind of baffling that he is the final... Like, here he is. That apparently is the Parasite. Yes, seriously, this is the freaking Parasite. Why in the world does a Parasite look like this? Because it's John Romita Jr.'s artwork. Of course he looks like this. Yes, I'm not really sure of why he looks like this, but he does. Mm-hmm. Yes. Because it is so weird, the fact that the Parasite looks like this. Yeah, and that apparently is the frickin' Parasite. Apparently this is Raymond Maxwell Jensen. And apparently he's from an alternate reality. You're thinking, really? He is? Yes. Raymond Maxwell Jensen. I believe he was... Oh, he was the Earth 1. Yes. So he basically had appearance by the original Parasite. That's not a joke. Apparently that Bendis decided to create a version of this character for, like, no reason at all. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Let me quickly do this. I have to go. Okay. Yes. But yeah. So, basically, we also have the first post-Flash meeting of Brainiac 5 and Supergirl. My only guess is the reason why Bendis threw that in, because Brainiac has met every version of Supergirl to date. Kudos for him doing that. This book is just really good. I'm going to give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Really good. I wouldn't give it a 10 because I really enjoy the story. It's just that the artwork. I'm not a fan of Romita Jr.'s artwork. It's just that by looking at the artwork, like, really? That's the Parasite? Wow, it looks like a weird blob, and they claim this is basically the original parasite from Earth 1, the Mark 1 parasite. Wow, that's something. Final thoughts. I'm going to do this very briefly because I got to go for dinner. Bendis' time on Superman. This is the start. Yep. I really enjoy his time in the Superman books. Yes. Now, yes, they're basically... I have heard the reason why he decided to do Superman, according to some articles I've read, was because he's a big Superman fan. Here's basically, like, the entire Action Comics run. Yeah, collect only 5 trades. Yep. Now, my friend Tivia didn't like this run at all. He thought it was really bad due to the fact what happened with John Kent. I thought that was kind of weird, too. Excuse me. The only weakness I kind of point out, though, about the final trade is the whole thing with the FBI. I think their presence here was a bit unnecessary, in my opinion. And, of course, the character Lonnie, for some reason, only appears in this book only. Do not know the reason for that. Yes, it's quite interesting, to say the least. Where this is by far the only book she appears in. Well, yeah, she most appears just in this book only. She appears in, like, the first issue of Jimmy Olsen, 2, and, like, 3 one-shots. And that is it for her. And basically the finale of this book, the Pencil issue, that's her last ever appearance to date because, well, if you think, though, like, with issue 1020, which is the epilogue to this arc, that's the end of Bendis' time on the book. And then we have stuff with Infinite Frontier stuff happening after this. Yep. But I like this. I like this stuff. My friend Tiffany did not like this stuff. My friend Edgar actually kind of liked this run. But, okay. I'm going to end it right here because I got to get some dinner. And I'm probably back a little bit later to do my next trade, which is basically deal with Power Girl and the Huntress. Okay, next video. Bye.